Future of Field Service podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Nicastro. Today, we're going to be talking through another journey of digital transformation. I'm welcoming to the podcast today two gentlemen from Jotun, Trond Aune, the Global ERP Manager, and Henning Haugen, the Group Technical Manager for Maintenance. Trond, can you give a brief introduction to Jotun and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Um, I am the ERP manager of Jotun, and Jotun is one of the largest paint companies in the world. We are producing paints for different purposes, and we are into 4 different segments. One segment is the marine segment, where we are painting ships. Actually, we are painting every 4th ships in the world with Jotun paint. Another segment is protective and industrial painting, where we're painting large assets of our customers like utility infrastructure, power plants, oil platforms, and so on. The third important segment is what we call the decorative segment. That is more beautification and protection of homes and buildings. And the fourth segment is powder, where it's actually industrial and decorative protection of steel and wood and other stuff. So Jotun is a major player within the paint manufacturing, and we actually have a turnover of almost $3 billion and 10,000 employees globally.
Okay, great. And Henning, can you introduce yourself and tell folks about your role?
Hi, Sarah. Yes, of course. My role is Group Technical Manager Maintenance. So my team is in charge of setting the corporate requirements, guidelines, and tools to be used by our maintenance teams across the world. So that's the short introduction.
Good, excellent. Well, thank you both for being here. I'm excited to talk through your story. We have companies on the podcast all the time that are at some point in their digital transformation journey, right? And so we're going to be talking about some of the different aspects of yours today. But one of the things that I've learned over time is how critical culture is when you're talking about any change and using your company culture to really anchor that change, whether that's digital transformation or a change in business processes or business focus, whatever that might be. And Jotun has a really unique culture. It's the penguin culture. So, Trond, can you start by telling us, a bit about the penguin culture and what it means to Jotun, how it originated, what the core values are, and how it sort of permeates everything that the company does?
The penguin culture is in the veins of all employees in Jotun. It is, we, as all other companies, of course, we have some core values. For Jotun, that is respect, boldness, loyalty, and care. That is not unique. What is maybe more unique is the way we in Jotun actually utilize this. Even though that we have excellent products and we have a fantastic infrastructure to produce and distribute those products to our customers, the most important asset we have is our employees. And by using the penguin culture, which is kind of a branding of the way we behave to each other, the way we behave to our customers, to suppliers, the thinking we are doing when taking decisions, how we treat the environment, how all these important aspects when we take decisions every day. Mm-hmm. This is, as I said, in the veins of us, and that is actually how we are succeeding also. This has been supported and promoted by the management in the company for so many years. Mm-hmm. And we really see the benefit of this now. And it's not only some expressions being used in in the brochures. It is actually really into the company.
Hmm.
The penguin is there. Obviously, penguin is an animal, and we relate to it very much. It is surviving in very tough conditions. It is a nice animal. It behaves very nice to each other, take care of each other, and obviously it's a bold creature. So this is things that fit very well into our thinking, and of course it's also a great marketing tool, both internally but also externally. And
Hmm.
and Jotun has actually got quite well known and almost famous about how we are utilizing this strong business culture.
I think it's so interesting to me. And we talked a little bit about this before, Trond, and I know that to you it's more what it means than the visible emblem of it. But the comment I made is, I can see how having that visible emblem, that mascot, that brand, could be so helpful in reinforcing, the traits that are so important to the company, and really having a way to regularly remind employees of the mission, to create a common language around it, and to create alignment. So I think it's a really interesting point for listeners, just to think about, how do you take the important traits or characteristics of your culture, and what are some of the ways that you can really, whether it's visually or otherwise, permeate that through everything the company does, in the way that Jotun has with the penguin. So the characteristics: respect, boldness, loyalty, and care. There's one that stands out to me, and it's boldness. And I love that that's included. And I want to talk about some of the ways that boldness is encouraged at Jotun. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, obviously, Jotun has over many years grown organically. And we grow in areas and countries which is early in the phase of economic development in many cases. We was one of the first companies entering Myanmar, one of the first of the Western companies after the country opened. And of course, that is boldness.
Hmm.
Um, we have and we use this expression as a boldness in order to show that yes, you are allowed to do mistakes, obviously.
Hmm.
uh, and that is part of our culture. Take decision, be bold on your decisions, be bold on your point of view. Um, and uh, and that has proven to that openness, and that philosophy has proved to be very important for Jotun, and actually for Jotun growth all
Hmm.
over. We are one of the really most fast growing paint companies in the world.
Hmm. Go ahead. Were you going to say something else?
No, that's fine.
Okay. No, I was just going to comment that I love that trait is emphasized, because I think that, when you talk about, today we're talking about digital transformation. When you talk about any sort of innovation, any sort of growth mindset, and what it takes to be successful there, I think, this emphasis on boldness makes so much sense to me. I think you want a company culture where everyone feels empowered to speak up, to share new ideas, to challenge thinking in an appropriate and respectful way, to really that elevates the company's mission overall, because everyone's contributing. So I really like that aspect, and I think that, as it relates to the topic of today's conversation and digital transformation, I think that, um, promoting boldness and giving people an opportunity to speak up and weigh in is part of what's required to successfully manage change, which is what we see often as the biggest, or one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to successful digital transformation, is change management and adoption and that sort of thing.
And Sarah, there is one more dimension to it, actually.
Hmm.
Jotun has a very wide geographical footprint. We are into uh, more than 50, 60 countries. And of course, the cultural diversity is so huge. And we are European and Americans. We are bold when it comes to actually just speaking out and to show our point of view. But when it comes to other parts of the world, people are more careful. And in that,
Hmm.
that respect, also the boldness thing is very important to give people really the opportunity to speak out, to come with their view, to give their ideas. So this is actually more than just a word. It is really an important part of our culture.
Yes, that's a really good point. Okay, so let's shift gears and start talking then about the digital transformation journey. So one of the big aspects of that is that Jotun has undergone a major effort to consolidate disparate ERPs into a global instance of IFS apps, which is used in more than 50 countries. So the overarching objective of that, I guess, was to create this single source of truth. So tell us a little bit about that project and some of the challenges you were looking to overcome and what the goals were there.
Yeah, I think that when we took that decision back in 2004, that decision maybe was more bold than what we expected to be, because it has proven really to be a challenging journey. But we are now at the really end of that journey. We are about to complete the last countries of rollout of IFS in the 50 countries we are into. And we need now really see the benefit, and we are extremely happy that we started that journey. Obviously, we saw a lot of benefits of having one instance. One thing is the data and one truth. The other one is, of course, the standardization of processes to have to do things the same way in all the companies. Third one, of course, was the huge internal trade we are doing in Jotun between all the companies that is now fully automated, which was impossible when all companies have their different solutions. And of course, the fourth one was the transparency, and actually, Jotun was growing, has been expanding a lot, and there is of course a need for control also from the corporate side. And all of these things has been fulfilled by the one instance setup of IFS in our group. And I think it's quite unique to have such a big setup with all the challenges it represents, both from a technical point of view, with access and performance and connections, but also on the solution side and the legal side, with all the problems related to legal requirements, specific business requirements. And of course, the standardization of business processes, which is not only an IT project, it's a huge business project actually to implement all this. So this it's now about to give us really a payback time. We are going into the payback time for this huge investment, and we are really happy to have done this journey.
Good. So you touched on this a bit, but let's talk through. It's a huge undertaking, right? As you said, not just on the IT side, but on the business side. This, you can summarize it in a couple of minutes. What you've accomplished, but it really is a significant undertaking to consolidate to that degree and to really bring in that single source of truth. So talk through. I want to talk about two aspects of that. First, let's kind of recap some of the benefits. What have been the major benefits in introducing a single point of truth into the business?
Obviously, consolidated reporting on sales, profitability on customers, on products, that is a huge benefit. Of course, we have much better control than if you have a lot of truth. But I think even more important is the benefit and the wins we have had when it comes to the internal alignment, because the ERP system is not only a transaction system, it is actually a carrier of standard business processes, and it is an enabler to improve your business processes as well. And as I mentioned earlier, especially on the advanced and complex setup we have when it comes to delivering paints to moving targets. As a vessel, a big ship is moving. So one day you have to deliver in Rotterdam, and next month it might be in Singapore, and then it might be in Korea the next time. And of course, the complexity of handling that kind of customers, that is the global rollout of IFS has really been helpful of that.
Mhm.
But it has also enabled us to start to utilizing not only the core ERP functionality. No, we are also looking into expanding the utilization of IFS and linking up new modules, where we actually can see that the one source of truth, the standardized processes, and the one instance and one database is really helpful and might make it much easier to implement new functionality as well.
Mhm. Yeah, that's another thing we talk about a lot on this platform, Trond, is the importance of setting a strong foundation. Which is what I look at the ERP journey as. It's a major undertaking to set a strong, consistent, cohesive foundation that then you can build upon with your digital transformation journey by adding different functionality and different technologies and different capabilities. When companies get enamored by some of the sophisticated tools that exist today without having done those foundational efforts, um, they can make a lot of investments for naught, right? Because they don't really have the basics, solid to be able to expand on. So that makes sense. Before we move on, the other thing I wanted to ask related to that project, and the breadth of experiences that you gained through it is, what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned?
Um, we had a fantastic support from group management, from top management in the group when we started this project, and that support has been maintained throughout the whole project. And I think that is at least one of the most important key success factors, that you have a strong ownership throughout the business, from the users up till the top management. So that has been an important thing to have with you. We have also learned that building the competence internally in our company has been important. We not only implementation of ERP is actually implementation of new business processes, and to carry though that learning beyond the project lifetime and into the lifetime of the company, that is difficult if you have too many externals. So we have actually built a strong team internally to do it. That is another learning. The biggest frustration and the biggest problem has been on the legal side. To implement the legal and to fulfill the legal requirement in countries like Brazil, Russia, India, Vietnam, Korea, Mexico. It's extremely challenging. That has obviously, we underestimated that complexity. That has caused the project to be more time consuming and more costly than we initially thought. Um, But we are now happy that we was patient and we carried that through. It was times when we was close to give it up. We didn't do that because of the patient of our management, our shareholders, and now we have a solid setup in all these countries as well. Um, and many other companies actually give that up and do local installations. And if you do that, of course, you breach the chain of the one truth, you breach the chain of this of your supply chain in order to have that as a kind of a one integrated supply chain. So that has been important for us.
Persistence and dedication. Okay, can you talk to me next a bit about how Jotun is embracing servitization?
Yeah. Um, Traditionally, of course, Jotun has been selling products, and we have been good at selling products, and we have excellent products to sell. Jotun is a high-end supplier of paints. We are not competing in the low end. Our focus is to have high-quality products. Still, and we have been very successful in that. The last few years, of course, we have seen that it has gradually gone from not only selling products, we are also selling some services together with the products. And now we are see they gradually turn into more servitization, that our customers they don't want our products, they want the outcome. They want us to sell the outcome of what our products can give. And that has Jotun has a lot of focus on innovation, and our innovation has now also turned into servitization of, and we will still selling paint will still be the major business, of course. But we have examples where we, for example, are offering our customers information and data about climate conditions, sea conditions, on how they can plan their routes from A to B in the most efficient way by reducing the resistance on the hull of the ship.
Mhm.
Because we have that data with all the experience we have. We also are going into a more environmental friendly and sustainable approach to this, and are offering uh, products and services which actually clean the hull of a huge ship. So we are offering both the hardware, the software, the services to clean the hull of the ships, and of course reduce the fuel consumption of a ship, and increase the profitability for the owners,
Mhm.
and of course giving Jotun both a environmental putting us in a more environmental friendly position, but also supporting our customers into the right direction of by not only selling paints, but also adding services and package our products in such a way that it fits into our customers' needs.
Mhm. Mhm. It's really interesting to me to hear you talk about servitization because I guess you know I talk about it a lot and I realize how pervasive it is. But at the same time, even I don't know that I've thought of it as something that a supplier of paint would get into. So it's just a really good example of exactly how important of a trend it is. If we look at a specific example, I believe one of the ways that you're doing this is in the marine division, right? And so, can you walk us through the example of how you track ships and then provide this service on I believe sort of a subscription basis?
Yeah, what we do it we actually put sensors on the propeller axles on the huge vessels, and we are monitoring sort of the efficiency of the engine of
Mhm.
the ship, combined with weather conditions, wind, seas, and also the kind of and the climates they are into. Put this a lot of this information together, and then of course we are tracking the ships in addition to as I said, sell that kind of information to customers, at least offer that information to customers so that they can improve their profitability as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
that is utilization of data and information
Mm-hmm.
we have, of course, and we are of course developing good products to get not only the service, but we are also supporting all of this with good products, improving our products according to the learning we have from this kind of information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. It's
Jotun, our digitalization approach is not to be the most fancy and utilize whatever exists of digital tools. We are very focused on doing this either because it serves our customers um, or because it improve our efficiency somehow. So we are not jumping in all kind of digitalization trends, but we are very focused on those activities we start. And of course, digitalization has a very high attention in Jotun these days. That is for sure.
good. Good. And I think that's a really smart approach. So good. All right. And Henning, I want to talk about another initiative in Jotun's digital transformation journey, which is a proof of concept that you're working on related to predictive maintenance in your production line. So talk to us a bit about the goals of migrating to a predictive approach.
Yes, to answer that, I think we should go a little bit back into the maintenance journey in Jotun.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, many of our maintenance organization was often seen as a cost drivers, and where the main strategy was reactive maintenance. There was often missing maintenance strategy in how proper maintenance could support efficient operations, both locally and from group. So in 2009, group maintenance was established, and with that we established a maintenance belt program, like a karate thing, where you need one level before you can go to the next. And together with that, we also set up a standalone computerized maintenance management system, which was required to be used at all sites except Norway, because they were already in IFS and using plant maintenance module. So during this maturing process in maintenance, moving towards a 80-20 preventive reactive maintenance ratio, we start to see some of the limitations of the system. And it was because it's separate databases, it's no single source of truth. You need to go into each database if you would like to collect all the data from all the sites. There was no system support for cost control, or no links to other company functions as purchase and things like that. So it's a complete standalone system. So second half in 2018, we started to set up a global solution for the plant maintenance module, using the experience from our Norwegian factory as a basis. And planned a rollout to 25 factories approximately from second half 2019 to end 2020. But as everybody know, during that period we had COVID happening. And of course that put an efficient stop to our on-site training. So we had to take one step backward and think, okay, what should we do now? What kind of options do we have? So we were thinking, okay, we need to do something online, and we moved all training to Teams. We did some piloting to ensure that we got the quality we wanted. So we have had a small delay of 2 months, but 2 months delay in a plan that was made 2 years back, involving actually several hundred people in total. I think it will be quite reasonably good even without COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we are still very satisfied with that process. So until now, we have actually been very focused on preventive maintenance by time-based maintenance. But last autumn, we were introduced for this project, and moving more towards condition-based or predictive maintenance, as we don't think time-based maintenance is the most cost-efficient way to run maintenance. As we probably are over-maintaining or under-maintaining the equipment because it's difficult to cope with the variations we have in production volume or product types, the real part lifetime and things like that. So for us, it has been the next natural step now. It has to been to look into condition-based functionality and predictive maintenance opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So by that, we expect actually to reduce the maintenance costs and maintain or increase equipment reliability and uptime, and also release more time for our technicians and spend more time on value-adding tasks, less manual data logging, and find new monitoring methods to increase equipment reliability.
Okay. Okay. So you're working on shifting from maintenance, which is done at time intervals, to maintenance that is provided as needed based on predictive analytics.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And Henning, how will the addition of predictive maintenance capabilities help you when it comes to building on the success of Jotun's partnership with IFS? So building on that foundation that Jotun has created with the ERP project.
For us, it's a great motivation boost to join a project like this. I think it will push our organization to look into more functionality and make us able to take better decisions and be more efficient. Then we can utilize and handle the huge amount of data that is actually created by the equipment and the systems much faster. Trying to manually handle and analyze all this data to get something useful out of it is very resource demanding, and now it's only done sporadically when we have time to do it, and we are often too late to implement required changes. So if we can have some more automated process into the system and giving us triggering a task when it's needed due to the conditions on the equipment or predicted by the system, that will help us a lot. So for us, it's interesting and motivating to work together with IFS on this, to be in the forefront and develop new functionality and tools here. So hope we will be invited for future projects as well.
And Henning, I think it's fair to say that utilizing new technology like this, both machine learning and Internet of Things, into our maintenance processes to identify and capture and analyze data, utilizing that to be better in the preventive maintenance has been really a nice and exciting journey for us, and it has been a really good cooperation with IFS in that respect. To be honest, this is tools and areas which we probably not have been gone into without IFS supporting us and helping us into those areas. As I said initially, we are a little bit laggards when it comes to utilizing the forefront technology in that respect. But we are really happy that we have got that opportunity. We really think that will help us in developing our maintenance process and hopefully reduce maintenance cost over time.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
I think we are jumping into this much faster than we would have done if this project was initiated by us. So very good.
Yeah, I was actually, Trond, I was going to come back and ask, you had said just a bit ago that Jotun is quite uh what's the right word? You take these projects seriously, and you don't just dive into every technology that's out there. So I was going to ask what about the opportunities of predictive capabilities made you say yes to adding that. So it sounds like part of it is the relationship and the history with IFS, and then part of it is driven by the ability to really improve efficiency, right?
Yeah, but it's also a little bit back to the sort of our approach to digitalization. We really need to see the benefits of it, and obviously being in the middle of the implementation of the maintenance module of IFS and starting to see some opportunities, but then boosting that with the machine learning, Internet of Things part of it, and get out that really gave a boost effect to the whole project. At least that is what we believe it will do. We have not finalized it yet.
Sure.
So it's yeah, it's just confirmed the way we are thinking around digitalization.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes sense. And we know that digital transformation is an ongoing journey, right? It's more of a path of continual evolution than it is sort of crossing a finish line. So you have this predictive project in the works, and you evaluate new technologies and capabilities quite carefully. Um, what is the thought process, I guess, overall at Jotun on this sort of continual evolution when it comes to digital transformation?
I think I touched into it a little bit earlier as well. We are, in some aspects, I mean, Jotun was one of the first companies in the world to start to tint paints in the shops. Now you go into a paint shops and you pick exactly the color you want. You can choose
Hmm.
in infinite number of colors. If going 40, 50 years back, you had maybe 25 colors to choose between. Jotun was one of the first companies in the world to implement tinting technology in the shops. Um, Another example is that Jotun was one of the first, had the most advanced automated warehouse when we built a new factory. That was, I think, in the 80s. Um,
Like 1977, I think.
1977. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and that is examples where we really are in the forefront, where we see the benefits of it. Uh, when it comes to uh, the digital trend of digitalizing everything in your business, I think we are not in the forefront. We are sort of in the middle. But when we saw, for example, the way what we have introduced now, the way to offer a solution for us, our customers, to clean the hull of a ship, that is groundbreaking.
Hmm.
Uh, and so that is a way of thinking. We pick our important areas which make us unique, and that is what we have done several times when it comes to digitalization. It is our customers, and it's the efficiency and the profitability and the growth which is important for us. And so I think that is short and sweet our approach to digitalization. But of course, we are doing digitalization every time, and we are implementing e-invoice and online services, and all that kind of stuff is of course hitting us as well, and we are doing that together with all the other companies around the world.
Hmm. Makes sense. Henning, anything to add?
No, I think Trond has brought it up very well. But of course, yes, we select areas where we have expect high effect and likelihood of success, of course. I think that's important. If you were going to jump into all the new trends of digital transformations or other business methods, I think rather this system will run. We will be run by these systems rather than we are running the systems.
Right.
But
That makes
what
sense.
we do see though, Sarah, is that obviously the capability to collect data, the capability to present and analyze data with tools like Power BI, for example, has really also boosted the digitalization over the processes, because we see now the possibility those kind of tools gives us to improve in all respects. So that is
Hmm.
also an important part of it.
Hmm. Going back to how we started this conversation with the penguin culture, it's a really well balanced approach. You as a company, you're very bold where you need to be and where you've proven it to be beneficial. But you're pragmatic and grounded in not feeling the need to dive into areas that are outside of your expertise or to try things that you don't know will bring a strong benefit to the company. So it's a really well balanced approach, because I wouldn't, you're not a laggard, you're not ultra conservative, you're bold where you need to be, but you're smart about where you choose to apply that. So I think it's a good lesson for anyone listening, to think about that. So very good. I appreciate you both sharing your time with us today. It's been a pleasure hearing Jotun's story and talking with both of you.
It's a pleasure to share as well. So, and thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You can you can learn more by visiting us at futureoffieldservice.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn as well as Twitter at the Future of FS. The Future of Field Service podcast is published in partnership with IFS. You can learn more about IFS service management by visiting www.ifs.com. As always, thanks for listening.